Welcome to Space Age Rabbit, where I dive into forgotten and short lived TV shows, and I also count down the top 10 hits from each year. So if that interests you, please consider subscribing. Today, I'll be looking at some of the forgotten and short lived shows of 1969. And my only requirement was that these shows premiered in 1969. So let's get to my list. First up is The Survivors. Set among the wealthy and scandal ridden jet set, the series followed Tracy Hastings, played by Hollywood legend Lana Turner, with a cast of characters that included Tracy's unfaithful husband, a powerful banking tycoon father, a playboy half brother, and a South American revolutionary. The show delivered weekly chapters of typical soap opera drama. And despite the star power of Lana Turner, the show did not last. The Survivors ran for one season, 15 episodes, and aired on ABC on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern before moving to Thursdays at 10 p.m.
Two Men of Steel clash. Watch Harold Robbins' The Survivors, starring George Hamilton, Lana Turner, and Ralph Bellamy, Monday night at 9, 8 o'clock Central Time.
Next, Jimmy Durante presents The Lennon Sisters. Following their departure from the Lawrence Welk show, the Lennon Sisters appeared with comedian Jimmy Durante for a weekly musical variety hour. The show drew big-name guests like Jack Benny, Glenn Campbell, Bob Hope, and Phyllis Diller. Sadly, 5 episodes into taping, the Lennon sisters' father, William Lennon, was killed by Chet Young, a disturbed fan who believed that he was married to Peggy and was convinced that her father stood in the way of his fantasy relationship. The sisters were understandably devastated by the loss of their father, and this tragedy impacted their new show. Jimmy Durante Presents the Lennon Sisters ran for one season, 24 episodes, and aired on ABC on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, before moving to Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. Next up, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. Mr. Deeds Goes to Town was loosely based on the 1936 Gary Cooper film. This series followed Longfellow Deeds, a small-town newspaper editor who suddenly inherits a large corporation from his corrupt uncle, Alonzo P. Deeds. Determined to right his uncle's wrongs, Longfellow moves to New York to take over the company. But his honesty and wide-eyed idealism quickly clash with the ruthless world of big business. Mr. Deeds Goes to Town ran for one season, 17 episodes, and aired on ABC on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Now there's a new age, new look that's part of the scene. In famous places, faces, look cover girl clean. Clean makeup, cover girl's the one for clean makeup.
Next, Then Came Bronson. Then Came Bronson follows Jim Bronson, a former newspaper man who walks away from his job and his old life after the tragic death of his best friend. Searching for deeper meaning, Bronson hits the open road on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, which he had once sold to his friend, but purchased back from his widow. While the show begins as a personal journey of self-discovery, each episode finds Bronson crossing paths with people at turning points in their own lives. The series debuted with a 2-hour pilot film in March of 1969, setting the tone for the reflective, soul-searching road trip that followed. Then Came Bronson ran for one season, 26 episodes, and aired on NBC on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. Next, The Music Scene. The Music Scene was a music variety show which boasted an impressive roster. The debut episode featured James Brown, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Buck Owens, and Three Dog Night. Later episodes included performances by Janis Joplin, Isaac Hayes, Stevie Wonder, Sly and the Family Stone, Mama Cass, and even Groucho Marx. The show had an unusual 45-minute runtime, which was a strategic move by ABC to disrupt viewers' habit of switching over to NBC at 8 p.m. for Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. The idea was that when the music scene ended at 8:15, ABC would roll straight into the new series, The New People, hoping audiences would stick around and forget all about Laugh-In. But the strategy didn't work. The music scene ran for one season, 17 episodes, and aired on ABC on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So let's go right into The New People. The New People was a youth-centered drama meant to capture the spirit of the 1960s counterculture. The story begins with a group of college students returning home from a State Department-sponsored Goodwill tour in Southeast Asia. A trip that was cut short after the students speak out against being used for political purposes. But their journey takes a turn when their plane crashes on a remote island. With no surviving adults and no way to contact the outside world, the students are left to fend for themselves. They soon discover the island had been prepared for an abandoned nuclear test, leaving behind fully stocked buildings and supplies. With all the authority figures gone, the young survivors are forced to build a new society from the ground up. The New People ran for one season, 17 episodes, and aired on ABC on Monday nights at 8:15 p.m. Eastern.
If faces were red, white, and blue, any color TV could give you good face colors. But real face colors are a lot harder to get right. That's why Philco Color TV has a special cosmetic color circuit that gets the faces right. And when you get the faces right, the rest is easy.
And I don't usually include daytime shows in my primetime lists, but I had to make an exception for this one, because not everything Laugh-In touched turned to gold. Letters to Laugh-In was a daytime spin-off of the hit comedy series, hosted by Laugh-In's announcer Gary Owens. Viewers at home could mail in their own jokes and have them read aloud by a panel of celebrities, which would include Laugh-In regulars. A randomly chosen group from the studio audience would score each joke. Each episode awarded prizes to the day's highest and lowest rated jokes. Despite being aggressively promoted, Letters to Laugh-In was canceled after just 3 months. Letters to Laugh-In aired at 4 p.m. Eastern on NBC from September 29th to December 26, 1969. So that's what I have for this video, but I do have more 1969 shows to talk about, so keep a lookout for part 2. If you enjoyed this video and like this sort of content, please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.
You know, I've been creaming my face twice every day for 7 days with Pond's, and not a thing has happened.